Hey everybody, it's Terensu / Lee Chaolan here in game. I'm going to teach you about Matama Fusion today and a little bit about the rebirth system in Shin Megami Tensei Imagine, why it's so important. This applies to the Reimagine server. It should be just about the same on most servers, but in-game currency and ways to obtain them and that sort of things may vary from server to server as well as experience rates, so keep that in mind. So anyway, we've had a lot of new folks come on the scene lately, and many of them have asked me about Matama Fusion and what it is. Now, if you've played a Megaton game before, in particular Nocturne, many of them have Matama Fusion, which Matamas are a set of 4 special spirits that you can fuse with any summon or demon to increase their stats in a certain way. And the way that works varies from game to game. So we're going to talk about the SMT Imagine version of it today. So if you look here, I have this Metatron here, which I've recently fused. It has not been Mitama'd. And so we're going to talk using this guy as an example. So why would I want to Mitama? What does that do for me? So basically, in SMT Imagine, power creep is insane. Cave just made this game more and more power crazy by the end of its life cycle. And Matama Fusion was one way to keep up with that for summoner builds, or in the days of the Reimagine server, even player damage builds will eventually need a Mitama'd summon because Wildcat is just too prevalent of a run in today's ecosystem in Reimagine. So you're going to need that eventually. But here is kind of how it works and how you do it. So if you get any summon and you go to this Rebirth tab here, you're going to see all these growth paths, and you're going to see slots right here, okay? Each one of these focuses on a different series of stats. So for example, if you're building something like an Ongyoki, this Tiwaz here will be extremely important because this gives big bonuses to close range attack. And so not only does it give bonuses every time you do a rebirth, it creates a growth path. So you see I'm on Fehu right now. And so that means I've got really high long range. Now my spell is high. That's because of the weapon I have equipped. Let me unequip that just so you can see. So you can see I've still got kind of higher spell right now, but that's because I've completed this rebirth path here, which is giving me spell. If I had only done this far on Fehu, it would be all long range all day, all the time. All right. So each slot is a rebirth, and the way this works is you get one for free when you first summon or contract a demon. You get the first one for free. So for example, Metatron, he starts on the Hagalaz path, which is a rebirth path that focuses on strength and magic. Now every time you get to a certain level, you are allowed to do a rebirth, which is just kind of like a prestige system. So when you rebirth this demon by using rune stones and talking to the master of the cathedral over here, you will go back to level 1 with your summon. However, they will receive a permanent stat bonus. So you can see I've done all 8 rebirths in Hagalaz. So that's giving me 14 close range and 14 spell. And this is permanent. This stays. And what I have decided to do is swap to the Fehu path next. That's what I'm currently working on. And you can see I've done 6. I'm on rank 6. And so that nets me plus 20 long range. And when I finish this, it'll be something like plus 28. Now to Mitama Fuse, you have to do at least 4 rebirths in each path. All right. So if we just say got all of these to about right here, this 4th path, that would unlock the option for Matama Fusion. All right. But keep in mind, doing 4 is just an easy way to remember it. It really has more to do with the number of rebirths. So for example, if I did 8 in this one path and did 4 in all but one of the others, it would still work because it's based on a number. I don't have that number right in front of me right now, but the quick rule of thumb would be 4 times 12 because that's all of these. That is the minimum, I believe that's 48. That would be the minimum number of rebirths of any rank to Matama Fuse. Now there is some difference between how many rebirths you have when you Matama. So for example, if I just did a straight R4, this will unlock 12 in each of these slots down here, and we'll talk about those slots in just a second. But if I do a full R8, which is I have 8 rebirths in every path, I get access to all 24 of each Mitama to allocate. And again, we'll get into that in a second. So let's swap over to the Matama Fusion page on the wiki here. So why do I even bother Metamafusing? You say, if I just do rebirths, I get a bunch of great bonuses. Why not just do that? Well, because for super in-game content, you're still going to need more power. And Matama is the way you get it. Because when you Matama with a certain Matama, depending on what stat bonus you want, you will receive, quite frankly, insane bonuses to those stats and all your other stats, as well as unlock special Matama features for your summon, which 9 times out of 10 are just leaps and bounds better than the ones you have before you Matama. Now, I said most of the time because there are some summons that have really dumb Matama features or features that just don't fit, but that's getting into kind of a tier list of summons in the game, so we won't worry about that. Just know that Metamafusing does usually get you not only crazy high stats right out of the gate, but it also gives you special features. And you can look on the wiki, if you look up any summon, their page will have the pre-Matama and post-Matama features. So whenever you start to build a summon in game, you should think about not only your build, but about what features they will have post-Matama. Because ultimately your goal with any demon that you want to spend a long amount of time with, it should be to Matama it, so that it reaches its full potential. Now obviously if you're only using it to get through early game, or perhaps it's just a throwaway for a Shiho requirement to unlock Digi or whatever, don't worry so much about it. But basically the rule of thumb is anything you just need quick and dirty, you are for it. Anything that you plan to use for a long extended period of time, maybe it's your favorite summon, maybe it's got really good support skills that complement your build, whatever it is, if you're going to use it long term, spend the time to do 8 rebirths in each slot, which is more expensive and time consuming. I won't really get into too much how you gather most of those resources today, but you can just ask in game how you get those and you'll find out pretty quick. But yeah, you should R8 anything that you plan to use long term. So you can see that there's 4 Mitama types here. So for example, this Metatron, I'm planning to make him rapid based, so that complements Fire of Sinai, which is his main skill. You would want to use Kushi Mitama for this because it helps speed. So if he's going to be using rapid abilities, not just Fire of Sinai, but other rapid abilities, you want to have speed because speed factors into rapid skills. Now, for example, if you were doing like an All-CL or something and you were going to rely on Black Sun or some other magic shot-based attack, you would probably want a Nigi Mitama because that gives huge bonuses to magic, intelligence, and luck. And so that's going to be your main source of damage post-Mitama. And then likewise, if you're doing a, let's say, Ongyoki or some sort of strength build, you would want an Aura Mitama because it gives lots and lots of strength and close range as well as vitality. Now the 4th one is Saki Matama. A lot of people lately you will find going the Saki Matama route. Saki Matama is one of the few ways to get a summon a big boost to luck, and you can see that that's what that primarily increases: luck, vitality, and strength. And luck, of course, factors into limit break chance and critical chance. So most people will stick with whatever the primary stat that they want is, but be aware that Saki Matama is becoming an increasingly more popular opinion just because Matama boosts are so insane to all stats anyway that a lot of people see this as negligible and they think, well, I'd rather have more luck and vitality and then the strength is nice too so that I get that better crit chance. But just keep Saki Matama in the back of your mind. Maybe not for your first Matama, but later on when you get a little better and you have more experience as to what you're doing, maybe try one out. But for now, I would recommend sticking with these 3. So how do we actually do the Matama fusion? Let's say we've done the amount of rebirths that we intend to do. How do we actually do it? Well, I can't do it with Metatron here because I still have a lot of work to do as far as rebirth paths. But let's say that these were all filled out and I was ready to do my Matama fusion. What I would do is go buy 2 of these quickly produced summon elemental PGs. You can buy these from an NPC called Saiyan at the docks. Just talk to the elevator lady in Babel. Tell her you would like to go to the docks, and you'll see Saiyan standing somewhere in front of you. And she will sell you these under Summon PGs. You can trade these for fighting spirits, which are a universal drop. These are 3 a pop, so if you've run a lot of dungeons, you're probably going to have more than enough to buy these. So as we said earlier, I need a Kushi Mitama because I'm worried about that speed and rapid bonus. So I need to fuse a Kushi Mitama, and the way you do that is by fusing elements together. Now you need to go to the wiki once you've decided which Mitama you want and figure out how to fuse them. So in the case of Kushi Mitama, you need to fuse a Flamus and an Earthis together. So that's why I bought 2 of these, right? So I can do Earthis right here, and then I can do Flamus right here. And you see they'll pop up in my summon list here. Now let's go and make this Mitama. All right, let's go and make him just so you guys can see that. So I've got everything else locked. So here's the 2. Kushi Mitama. Mitama are super easy to fuse. You're going to have a 100% chance. So we'll just go for it. There we go. We have our Kushi Mitama ready to go. I'm going to save this. So in the future, if you see me in game and you see this guy has been Matama fused, know that the Kushi Mitama from the video you watched is the one that we used. And so you say, okay, we've got the Matama. How would we fuse him? Now, let's assume that I have the minimum number of rebirths. And again, I don't on this guy, so it's not going to show up, but just assume I did. You would simply go to double fusion. Metatron would appear right here, and you would fuse them together. And that would be it. They would be Matama fused once it succeeded at that point. All your rebirths will reset, however, so keep that in mind that you're going to have to do all the rebirths again. However, it's worth it, and let me show you why. Let's pull out a different one. Let's pull out this Michael here. So let's go to Matama Strengthening now. And he says, what do I desire? And this has already been Mitama, so I'm going to pick Allocate Mitama. And so after you've Matama'd, what you want to do is start working on these rebirths again. You can see I haven't worked on this one, so there's nothing here. But this Tiawaz I have. And I've actually allocated Matamas on these Tiawaz rebirth slots. And every one of them I allocate gives me bonuses. So for the first one I got Strength +3. This one I got Vitality +1. This one I got Speed +1. Here was a Luck bonus. It's random within a set depending on the Matama. So for example, if you put an Aura Matama on one of these slots, you're not going to get a magic bonus. You're either going to get Strength or Vitality or Speed or something to do with a physical nature. And so this is how you get really strong. So you have all these rebirths which are giving you permanent boost, and then you allocate these Matamas to them, which again, you would go and fuse 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, 6, however many you wanted. You would go make those Matamas and then allocate them to these slots to get bonuses. Now, I'm not going to put this Matama we just made on a rebirth path here because I don't have one I need at the moment. But also, you want to apply your Matamas in sets, and here's why. If I go to Matama Set Effects, you can see these nice little bonuses here. These come from applying specific combinations to each path. So for example, Tiawaz. I've done an R8 on Tiawaz here. I've gotten all 8 ranks. And I've applied 4 Aura Matamas and 4, I believe that is Saki Matamas on this. And so the 4 Aura Matamas unlock Strength +20, Vitality +20. The 4 Saki Matamas give Luck +20, Vitality +20. There are a ton of different combinations. You can see them all here. I'm not going to go through and list them. Just go to the wiki, type in Matama Fusion, and look at the page. It has a very easy to understand allocation chart, which shows you how you unlock these particular bonuses. But just remember, to get them, you have to do more rebirths because your rebirths are going to be reset to 0 once you Matama fuse. But the trade-off is you can see how I've got these insane stats right here at level 61. Like I'm looking at 252 close range right out of the box here. And this guy's not even done. I still have a lot of work to do on him. But you can see how this makes you very strong very fast. And if you're using summoner build gear, that's only going to stack with these benefits. So it's how you become very powerful very quickly if you're a summoner build, or if you just need a quick and dirty summon to use for Wildcat builds because Wildcats are so popular in today's metagame. This is the way that you would do it. So if you have any questions on Matama Fusion or the benefits or where to get the items below, just write me a comment or shoot me a message in the Discord. If you want to join our clan in game, if you're a new player, you can message me or one of the other subs. We would be glad to help you and give you pointers and advice on how to get started with Matama Fusion and SMT Imagine. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. Several people in game have told me how much these videos helped. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to message me in game or Discord or whatever it is and tell me. That's all the encouragement I ever needed or could have hoped for. So thanks so much for that, guys, and have a great day.